Looking like a tramp, like a video vamp.
10:20 here, Portland Sports Leader. Don't you forget it. We are live
Right on time.
from the shadows of the historic Fremont Bridge, 503-864-6326. That's the fan text line. She'll let you interact with us throughout the entire day. Also, we've got the YouTube figured out, I believe, over there, youtube.com/1051. The Fan is the channel, although I just pulled mine up and I'm looking at Joe Fisher and Rashad, which is awesome. Hey, there's us again. Anyway, so go check that out. A lot to get to this hour. We'll dive into James Harden and his impact on the Cleveland Cavaliers so far. Can he be the missing piece that they need? Also, a little World Baseball Classic.
Did I ruin the segment?
News that came out. Hey, Danny, what do you think about this? No. And commercial break. And it's time to go.
We do have a new mock draft out, too.
For NBA?
The NFL.
Oh, yeah?
And guess what happened?
What?
Caleb Downs upped.
Let's save that. Let's save that. Let's save that.
I just saw that and I went, what people actually think is coming out.
Coming up in the big nooner, we will get to Underwear Olympics as they are underway. They begin. I know one of your favorite. Let's save that for then. Let's look at. I love mock drafts, especially NFL mock drafts. Basketball are always tough because like half the dudes. You can be really, maybe that's the biggest differential between football and basketball. You can be really good in college basketball and be absolutely nothing in the NBA.
Drew Timme.
Yeah. Beast.
Yeah. Absolute
all-time
monster.
GU legend. All-time GU legend.
Yeah. And just, no.
Can't do it.
No.
And then you've got guys that are garbage in college.
Luka Garza.
Yeah.
National Player of the Year. Yep. And you're not really doing much.
Adam Morrison.
Another
GU. Yeah, but then you can look at guys like Cedric Coward, who we'll see, jury's still out on him.
But he's a pretty good player.
Had a pretty good season. He only played 8 games at Wazoo last year. The year before was in, Middle Appalachian, North Valley State, and he can play in the NBA. Yeah. So it's really weird. Scottie Pippen, Karl Malone.
Yeah.
Like these dudes came from nowhere.
Terry Porter at University of Wisconsin, Stevens Point.
Yes, yeah, and they all became all-timers. Yeah. An article that just came out from Crepia at the Oregon Live kind of talking about Ducks and Beavers and the Civil War. There's a very interesting quote that comes out of this. As this fall, it'll be the first time the game hasn't played since 1944. That is wild. 128 games in the series total. They also won't be playing in 2027, according to Oregon State Athletic Director Scott Barnes. He said, quote, "We weren't able to do that. That was on our side," which then to me opens up all this kind of speculation about why not. Are you choosing not to? Is there some sort of stipulation that Oregon wants that you don't want to give?
The
disconnect is very large, and I'm curious how this all plays out to be who is the real perpetrator of it.
Well, the funny thing would be is if like Oregon was making a big deal about not doing it home on home.
UW tries to do that with Washington State.
That at least makes a little more sense because of the distance.
Sure.
And I'm not talking about like the overall distance, but
and Pullman, as much as I love Pullman is not.
It's out there.
It's not the easiest place.
Yeah. Well, Corvallis and Eugene are 25 minutes from each other?
They're not far, and they're both right off I-5.
Yeah.
Corvallis, you got to go in a little more, but they're both right off I-5.
Like the whole idea of travel being a thing, just if that's a stipulation in there, I don't want to hear it.
Or if Reeser was like some cupcake stadium that couldn't fit everybody.
Yeah. They just got done redoing it.
It's really nice.
Yeah. So
new Reeser is dope.
So it's like if that has anything, and again, I'm not blaming Maury. I'm just using this as an example of Duck fans chill. I'm using that as an example. Like if that has anything to do with this, that's very dumb.
Another quote, "We've had some adjustments we've needed to make, most recently on our side to get through some things. We're close to a 4-year series that we're going to be announcing." So I don't know what that is, but it sounds like it's not the Oregon Ducks. And I know there's a lot of Duck fans out there that text in, Jim, our wonderful P2 Jim, he's always been a huge fan of just getting rid of the game in general, that the disparity between the two teams is so large that why do I want to set up for this game? To read his text here, "Unless there's a huge shift at Oregon State, there's no need to play the Civil War anymore going forward. But like I said, unless there's some huge investment group that comes in and wants to make Oregon State a powerhouse, then maybe." So that's like, I don't know. I personally can't live in that world. as somebody who is in a parallel situation with my alumni. Look, is there a good chance that Wazoo loses to UW for the next 10 years? Of course there is. Is that terrifying to me? Yes.
Yeah.
In a world where we now have a shot to get into the playoff, dare I say an easier route to get to the playoff than we used to due to the G6? Do I want UW on my schedule every year that's a loss almost every year? No. But I also need a Power 5 opponent every single year, and UW is not the level of Oregon.
No.
So I get that. Oregon is going to be a perennial preseason top 10 from here till the end of time, it feels like, to where UW could have a down year but still be favored, or they could, maybe have a preseason top 25 year. So it is a little different in that aspect. I'm willing to listen to that argument. But I need Power 4 teams on my schedule, and that rivalry is steeped in tradition. And if it is that year that your team, if Oregon State has a year where they could legitimately make the college football playoff, what if that's the year you snag Oregon? If the stars align and Oregon hasn't figured out their quarterback, if they bring in a transfer who's not very good, turns out Raiola stinks, or something like that, then you could be in a serious position to knock them off, and that's a good win for your program.
That's where the differentiation between the Oregon States and Washington States and the JMUs, where they're like, give us the smoke. Give us the smoke, man. We don't care. North Dakota State being like, yeah, screw it.
Let's go.
We'll pony up. We'll pay here's $12 million. We're going to come to your conference and kick your butt.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's a mentality. It's not just a mentality on the field. It's a mentality of the organization or the school, the athletic department of like, it's scared money don't make money. You know what I mean? Like that's the thing.
That's exactly what I was going to say. If you're scheduling based on fear, you're already out.
You're
already out.
And that's where, look, I don't like saying people should be fired, but basically everyone at Oregon State in leadership, not necessarily the coaches, but some of the coaches for sure too, like they all need to be packed up. They all need to be packed up because the way that they're operating, the way that they're going about things, you have got schools like Sacramento State and North Dakota State that are just jumping on the train, being like, going full Luda, move, get out the way. Like,
if you continue to act this way, to your point, if you continue to act this way, the Sac states and the North Dakota states of the world are closer to being the same level as your program than you are with Oregon or UW, respectively.
Yes, and like, to be honest,
that's a scarier place.
If you're asking me right now, based on what I have seen, who do I have a more positive outlook? Not just from where they are right now to where they could be, but just in general, the idea of looking at, if you're asking me, gun to my head, who I have more faith in at being a higher level, being more successful right now in 5 years, North Dakota State or Oregon State?
It's not even close.
It's North Dakota State.
It's not close
and
for
it's
me.
not like a measuring stick against where they are right now. I'm talking about the heights that they can get to.
And it's not even a slight towards Oregon State because I think we all, we're not Duck fans.
No.
We didn't go to Oregon. We're not Duck fans, so we want Oregon State to be good.
Again, gun to my head, if you're asking me who I want to be more successful,
same.
it's Oregon State.
Yep,
Again,
exactly.
I graduated from
Yeah.
there. I want them to be good.
Talk to me, Beaver.
I really look at it as, why don't we? Why not be the team that jumps at the bit at every chance that we get to go after opportunities to just make it known. Oregon State wants to be a contender in every sport.
Mm-hmm.
Again, that's what our school wants. You could walk and talk to every single alumni that I've ever known. We all just want good sports.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's just the big takeaway.
Let's put a quick pause on this. I want to read a text message, and we'll come back because I want to look at it from the Oregon side as well. And that's what this texter is saying, and I'll read that when we come back around. 503-864-6326. Civil War, you in, you out? I know we talk about this, but Scott Barnes has now made a statement saying that this is not on the table for at least the next 2 years. Could be more. We'll do that next, but first, there's Casey with sports.
Now, from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on the Fan Sports Network, 105.1 FM and 1080 AM.
First on the Fan, your Portland Trailblazers are back in action tonight, hosting Anthony Edwards and the Timberwolves inside the Moda Center. Blazers coming into the game 6.5-point underdogs as they will be without Shaedon Sharpe, Damian Lillard, and Denny Avdia, who is still nursing a back injury. For Minnesota, Naz Reid is still questionable with a right shoulder injury. Some MLB news for you, as Chris Sale and the Atlanta Braves have reached an agreement on a 1-year, $27 million contract extension. The extension includes a club option, keeping the future Hall of Famer pitcher from reaching free agency next winter. Over to the NFL, as Atlanta Falcons general manager Ian Cunningham informed Kirk Cousins that the team plans to release him on the first day of the league year. Cousins, a 14-year veteran, completed 61.7% of his passes, throwing for 10 touchdowns on 5 interceptions over a 10-game span. And we are 2 days out from the on-field drills at the 2026 NFL Combine. Players are currently going through interviews, medical evals, and measurements, while all of the on-field workouts will kick off on Thursday, starting with the defensive linemen and the linebackers. For more sports scores and stories in 30 minutes, I'm Casey Smith from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt and missing work? Insurance companies acting like jerks? Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at warrenallen.com.
Your home for Seahawks football. The Fan.
Coming up next, we'll take a peek at James Harden. We'll move some World Baseball Classic talk to tomorrow because I have fun with this conversation, and I mean because I think it's such an interesting insight and kind of door into the minds of our two biggest local college fan bases here in the Portland metro area, of kind of just there's so much pride still involved whether you want to play the game or not, that it's fascinating to kind of see how it goes. This was the text that came in that I want to kind of spark this conversation here. As a Beaver fan, wait. Is that what I want? Yes. Sorry. As a Beaver fan, I would say that until Oregon State shows that they're actually willing to put a football team on the field, what would be the incentive for Oregon to play them? And I wanted to kind of look at that from the Oregon standpoint. Before we get into some schedule stuff, there's another text that came in that I want to read that I think is super valid as well. I think there is still a lot of legitimacy for Oregon to play this game. And most of it, if I'm being honest, is not on the football field. It's a socioeconomic situation. It is wherever that game is played. I mean, games at Autzen are going to sell out no matter what. That's not my point. But you're going to get more people in town spending money, more excitement, more coverage, more media presence, the local market around this game. That even if Oregon State is, for example, eons behind the level that Oregon is from a competitive standpoint, that rivalry, that hatred, that steeped tradition, which like we always say is what college football is all about, that pays off, even if the final score is 49-6.
It's one of the longest running rivalries in the country. And it's regional. It's right next to each other. It's called Civil War because it's brother on brother. It's splitting of families. It's all the things that go with that. I hate the whole defeatist of why would anybody want to do this? Why? If you're having to ask that question, you're going about this the wrong way. Why did Oregon have to play Idaho last year?
It's part of the schedule.
And
you need that cupcake. And Montana State.
Well, remember, not just the past year, but I guess now technically 2 years ago.
2 years ago, yeah.
Idaho almost beat them.
Right.
That was a scary game.
Mm-hmm.
So, I understand that you're not.
Boise State, what was that, 2 years ago? I mean, Boise State's a better program.
Yeah,
but still.
Oregon State won in 2022.
13 straight running plays.
Yeah.
Damian Martinez.
Ran it down their throat.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing they could do about it.
Mm-hmm. Even Lanning is yeah, we missed that one.
Yeah. It's
he still recognizes it. And that's why, here's another great text. As a Ducks fan, but someone who didn't attend OU, is it weird I want the Beavers to be a feasible rivalry? Please become a good program and give us a run for our money. Rivalries make sports more fun. I get that means we could lose, but that's what makes sports sports. I think that's the right way to look at it.
I think it makes both programs better
Yes.
when each team is competing. I mean, in 2022, both teams were ranked in the top 25. That made for a competitive 38-34 game where you had to run the ball 13 times in the second half to win.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's a competitive football game. That's what we want to see.
I think there's some fear, too, of, again, kind of back to what you were saying earlier, Danny, about the fear aspect of it, that can turn into really sour grapes to an extent. Like this person says, I don't care if we ever play again. If they want the Civil War back, they can pay for it. Their QB makes as much as our TV deal. I get that. I get that. That stinks. That stinks a lot.
But it also sounds like sour grapes. You can sit there and choose to play the victim, or you can find a way out of this.
This is back to your North Dakota State thing. Do you want to be the team that gets paid $800,000
to come
to
whoop
get your ass whooped?
Well, oh no,
I don't.
No. But you know what you can do? You can be the team that gets paid $1 million to go kick somebody's ass.
Agreed.
It's a mindset. It's a mentality. It's JMU comes from FCS to FBS, and in 5 years is in a playoff.
Mm-hmm. And their former coach just won a natty and is God's gift to Green Earth.
So, again, I know Signetti, but Signetti left, took his coaches with him. Reminder, took his coaches with him.
Took 13 players with him as well.
And guess what JMU did? They came right back.
Mm-hmm.
So don't give me this woe is me crap. I understand it's hard. I understand I'm a USC guy and I've got more money than God and all those things, and I don't want to hear it from him. Then hear it from North Dakota State, hear it from JMU, hear it from Sacramento State, hear it from Boise State, hear it from UCF, hear it from Tulane. You got your ass kicked by Air Force. I'm telling you right now, that ain't okay.
No.
That's on you, dog.
You went out on the road to Appalachian State.
Time to pick up the bootstraps.
Yeah.
It's time to pick them up.
True. And I my alma mater, I root for a team that is very parallel in this situation. Now, we are in a different world in the sense that we have fired our AD. We are moving on. We are investing more and looking where to gain, and I am very proud that my organization, in my opinion, is running things better than they are in Corvallis. Little things that happen, though, keep getting my juices going. The Damon Williams story at UW. I read that. We talk about it on the air. Personally, back home, me and my boys were like, think we can get UW this year? They got problems at quarterback. And then I see, oh, wow, okay, Wazoo is the number 2 recruiter in the new Pac-12 right now. Number 1 transfer portal, number 2 overall recruiting behind Boise State. And I'm going, ooh, do you think we can catch Boise State? Playoff? Are those realistic? Probably not. but those juices
But there's
flow.
something going.
And when I sit with my boys and we talk about what game do we want to go to this year, we're talking about we want to go to the Arizona game because that's a P4 school on our schedule. And we're like, we could win that game. And we'll probably lose by 30, but who knows? And I think having that sort of, again, it's a little anti what you say with the Blazers. It's a little mystery box. But you know me. I'm a mystery box kind of guy. I'm a hope guy.
Yeah, I also think that there's some more mystery box in football because the rosters and the
Totally.
development and the turnover and all those kind of things. But I look at that and go, yeah, but you're doing something. And I look at Oregon State, and the more people that I talk to that are close to that school, that are close to the athletic department, and the stuff that I hear coming out of that, it's actually worse than is being discussed. It's actually worse.
Yeah.
To your point, I'm kind of hoping that a lot of the conversations are outside coming in, especially when you have a brand new football coach, a brand new program kind of being built up right now with Shepherd leading everything going forward. I'm very much hoping that the calls aren't coming from the inside.
Well, here's the thing, and screw it, I'll say it. I'll say something that's going to terrify you and Beaver fans. I have heard from people that are directly involved that if that team goes out and does anything relatively good, the entire staff's gone. The entire staff's gone.
Wait, what?
Yeah, they don't want to be there. That's what I mean. It's worse than you think it is.
Yeah.
Like, they're already looking around like, if we win 6 games, we're gone. We're gone. And it's not one, it's not two, it's like the whole staff. That's the stuff coming out of the school, out of the program right now.
Yeah, again, I don't mean to keep making parallels, but I can relate. Like, Jimmy Rogers left us in the middle of the night, and we were just flabbergasted.
Well, they're looking around and going, they don't know what they're doing. And you've got people in leadership that the only thing they're doing is clinging and clawing and holding on. They're not growing. They're not taking a risk. They're not doing anything because all they're trying to do is cling to what they've got because they're scared. And if you just get down to it, look around the rest of the country. What happens to scared programs?
They become irrelevant really quickly. Really quickly.
Scared money don't make money.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one thing to have that brutal of a schedule. Like we talked about at the beginning of the year last season. How many times did we talk about Florida's schedule? Florida's schedule was an absolute
It was one of the nastiest schedules I've ever seen.
unbelievable. Home or away,
Yeah.
it didn't matter.
It was every week.
Every week.
Here's a top 15 team. Enjoy.
And Florida turned out to have a lot more problems than we expected. Lagway regressed. The coaching staff, everybody
Gone.
turned on Napier real quickly, who by all accounts seems like a good dude, which is why he landed himself a solid G6 job. But that thing fell apart quickly. But the schedule, look, if Lagway didn't take a step back and Napier didn't get fired and they still went, 8-5, I think we would have looked at that schedule and been like, brutal call, dude. Hopefully next year you get a little bit of luck.
You get a little bit of a break there.
So having a rough schedule is fine. There are years where, to take Oregon, for example, their Big Ten schedule is going to be brutal. They are going to get Penn State, Iowa, Ohio State, and Michigan, and USC all in one year. And that's going to be, last year's was no cakewalk. At Iowa,
It was lighter, though.
lighter. At Iowa, you've got Indiana at home,
Penn State on the road.
Penn State on the road, USC at home. Like, that's, for a team with 20 teams, for a conference with 20 teams, that's about how ish bad it can get.
Yeah,
And
but
I'd argue that the only reason why the schedule wasn't as dominant is because the other teams weren't as strong. Like Michigan wasn't as strong this year.
Penn State fell off.
Obviously fell off. Iowa wasn't as strong as an Iowa team as we'd seen in years.
Yeah, Iowa's still a nightmare.
But sometimes the schedule goes in your favor and sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah.
So to schedule fear based is just it's asinine.
And not
to me.
only that, you're not in a position to sit there and worry about the schedule.
Agreed. I think you need as many eyeballs. And look, if
It
you're playing
needs to be
Oregon,
if you want the smoke, we'll come to you. Like, that needs to be the mentality.
or you decide that you're a baseball school.
Yeah.
You decide that you're a baseball and some of those other sports that you can be really good at. Women's basketball. Oregon State's really good at women's basketball and baseball. Maybe that's where you
Wrestling
live.
and gymnastics.
I thought it was gymnastics. I couldn't remember. If that's how you want to do
Yeah,
it,
what's
look,
her name? Jade?
Yes.
Yeah.
look, the old
Olympian.
the old Pac-10 before Colorado and Utah, like the schools that weren't good at football dominated in everything else. Go look at
Jade
Cal and
Carey.
Stanford.
Mhm.
Go look at Cal and Stanford.
Cal,
okay?
Stanford, UCLA, like
Those are
Olympic
Olympians
schools.
everywhere across the world.
Yeah.
UCLA's men and women's soccer programs were huge, pumping people into their leagues respectively.
Conference of
champions. So if that's the route you want to go, that's fine. But I don't.
Just realize that you're going to miss out on tens of millions of dollars.
Mm-hmm.
hundreds of millions of dollars.
I think they just need to look in the mirror and just decide what they want to do. That's what I've been saying about my school. What do you want to do?
Mm-hmm.
When Rodgers leaves and the AD gets fired, we're talking to Alex Brink. I'm texting him off the air. It's like, school's got to make a choice.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to be in football? Because if you don't, that's fine. But if you don't, you got to walk away.
Yeah.
You can't 5 toes down this.
No, you can't.
Not in
just,
football.
You can't just sit there and keep playing the small blind. You can't. You're going to get bled dry.
Yep.
You either need to.
You can't grind it.
No.
No, this isn't John Turturro and Rounders who grinds for a living. You can't do that in football. You might be able to do that in basketball. I would argue my school does that in basketball.
You
we're
can
not
because-
atrocious, but we're okay. We're not good.
It's roster size. That's what it is. If you get one guy, you can make some noise. You can make a Sweet 16 Elite 8 run. Guess what? That's a couple $1 million in your coffers. And then you just kind of kick the can.
Rinse, repeat. When we come back, let's slide over to the NBA. I want to look at some numbers of James Harden since he has joined the Cleveland Cavaliers. Could he be the piece to push them over in the East? We'll go there next. Portland Sports Leader 105.1 FM and 1080 AM.
Damn cool. Grizzly Adams did have a beard.
Coming up in hour number deuce, we'll get to some NFL chatter. One person can do this, but another can't. And here we go. Throwing flags and replay challenges, huh? Blech. Also, we'll have a conversation about maybe the best wide receiver in the NFL. Plus, web gems near and dear to Danny and I's heart. So a lot to get to in hour number deuce. But we'll finish up here in this hour with some crazy stats to share with you, Danny. James Harden, since joining the Cavs, 18.5 points per game, 5 rebounds, 8.5 assists, 48% from downtown, and they continue to win with him on the court. The question I have to you now, we talked about this a lot when Harden got traded, if you would rather live in the Darius Garland world or the James Harden world. Did we both agree we kind of were in the Darius Garland world?
Yeah, I mean, not as,
Assuming his feet are okay.
Yeah, that's what it really comes down to. Is I've been and will always remain a Darius Garland guy. Had him at Hoop Summit, loved him in college, even in his limited time. Great dude. I love the way he plays. It reminds me a ton of Mike Conley. Great organizer, a guy that can
hell
talk.
of a compliment.
It's just a guy. It's a pro.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a pro. Like I love guys that are pros, and especially as a point guard. If I don't have Luka, LeBron, some hybrid quasi freak that runs my offense, I want an organizer. Like that's just like if I don't
school point guard.
If I don't have Damian Lillard, I want an organizer.
Yeah, I want a Rajon Rondo.
You know what I mean? Like
I want a J Kidd. John Stockton.
But the only problem with Garland is his feet, man. He's just got feet issues, and it's like. With Harden though, he gets to Cleveland with the Clippers. He was in the 93rd percentile with usage. He's down to the 59th percentile.
And honestly, that's kind of why I was asking Teason if he could be the piece that they're missing, because I have never been a Harden guy.
Mm-hmm.
I watched him when he was at Arizona State with my own eyeballs. I was like, decent score. I don't know how this guy is going to be a great NBA player. Incorrect take. Very, very wrong on that. Clearly a Hall of Famer, all-world type of player. Top 10 all-time salary earnings in North American sports. The kid's good.
Yeah.
But he's just never been my Huckleberry, and I think you nailed it. It's that usage. Everywhere he's been, sans his early days in Oklahoma City with the other two boys, he has had to be the guy. So by the time the playoffs roll around, he is spent. His energy is gone. He can't get up for it, and he has a terrible, terrible track history of his playoff performances. Now, you put him on a team like this with a player who basically plays every night in Spider, in Donovan Mitchell, and he doesn't have to be the guy. This might be the best James Harden you can see, and that's why I ask. In an East that's as open as it is, because I don't believe in the Knicks. I just don't. Jalen Brunson is great. I don't think there's enough offense there. I just don't care for it.
Yeah.
The East is pretty wide open. Detroit is going to be a tough out, but we saw what San Antonio did to them last night, so they can get got hard.
Mm-hmm.
Can Harden be the guy that pushes them not just out of the first round, but maybe into a conference final?
Yes, I mean, it's only been 6 games, but Harden, his effective field goal percentage is in the 100th percentile. He's been stupid efficient, particularly from 3 in the mid-range. His rim finishing has really struggled over the last couple of years. You saw him at his peak be like a 64, 65% rim finisher, which puts you in like the upper 20% in the league. Over the last couple of years, he's hovering like right around like 60, 59, 60, which...
Can I say that's probably age?
But it's probably a part of that for sure. Age, injuries, who he's playing with, being frustrated, maybe being out of shape at certain points in time. We all remember Fat Harden or Fat Suit Harden.
Mm-hmm.
But you see the usage go down, the assist rate go up, the turnover rate kind of stabilize, and his shooting really stabilize. And he's playing secondary to Donovan Mitchell. And, we're talking about Jaylen Brown, and we're talking about Jokic, we're talking about Giannis, we're talking about Wemby and SGA and those guys for MVP. Brother, look at what Donovan Mitchell has been doing this year.
Well, I mean, and we came into...
He's been bonkers.
And we came into this season, I don't know if you and I talked about this, but I know I was really high on it. This is a big year for Cleveland. And the season kind of shook out a little differently than we expected, but you have an all-world defender in Mobley. You have a bona fide guard superstar in Donovan Mitchell who can score. This team was set up in a year when Tatum went down. Giannis has dealt with some injuries, that the East kind of started to open up a little bit. I really thought this was Cleveland's chance. And my thought of Cleveland going into this season, and I don't know if that's changed in your opinion, was this is conference finals or bust. Because things opened up.
Well, not just that, they're worried about it. The reason the Cavs went and made this deal is because they're worried about Donovan Mitchell leaving.
Exactly. Because they've been worried about him leaving before they traded for him.
Yeah, they traded for him with everyone knowing where he wanted to go, which was New York. He's from New York, and him going back there, there's not a person I know in the NBA, whether it's media, whether it's player, whether it's front office, that did not think that Donovan Mitchell was going to spend a year, maybe 2 in Cleveland, and he would not sign that new deal, and he would somehow find his way to New York. Well, Rick Brunson's in New York, and he gets Jalen to New York because that's his son, and you kind of figure those things out.
And now New York is in a spot they can't afford Donovan Mitchell. They don't have the... If they're trying to trade for Giannis, they don't have the draft assets to go get Donovan Mitchell. They don't have the money to sign Donovan Mitchell. So maybe that plays into Cleveland's hand again with the Brunson situation. It's time. Now, I think what's tough in the Eastern Conference is we knew Detroit was going to be better. I don't think we all expected Detroit to be this good, except for the guy raising his hand to my left. Cade has obviously taken a huge jump. Duran has been great, all-star starter for
Asar,
Stripes.
if he can stay healthy, is just a defensive force. I want to mention this on Donovan Mitchell, though. Of the top 15 scorers in the NBA, he has played the most games.
Donovan Mitchell?
So he's out there with guys dinged up, with Darius Garland out and Mobley out, and yet he's carrying the load, and he's averaging 29 a game, shooting 49, 37, 85. So despite the usage, despite the ask, and he's averaging, 6 assists, 5 rebounds, and
Talking about that 65 mark, maybe he's the one that benefits from guys falling out.
if Donovan Mitchell's not all NBA, we're out of our minds. We're out of our freaking minds. We're out of our freaking minds.
It's going to be interesting to watch Cleveland, how they play down the stretch, because you don't trade a young kid in Darius Garland for James Harden if you're not trying to make a run.
No.
You've got the defense there. You don't need to worry about Harden being the number one guy because Donovan's there. Be interesting. That's for sure. Playoffs right around the corner. 23 games for some teams, 24 games for your Portland Trailblazers. When we come back, let's get into the NFL in hour number deuce. The NFLPA report cards under scrutiny, for they will no longer be allowed. What is with that? Bro, you scared? You scared, bro, huh? 105.1 The Fan.
We all
Now, from the George McCoy and Warren Allen Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on the Fan Sports Network, 105.1 FM and 1080 AM.
First on The Fan, your Portland Trailblazers are back in action tonight, hosting Anthony Edwards and the Timberwolves inside the Moda. Blazers coming into the game 6.5-point underdogs, as they will be without Shaedon Sharpe, Damian Lillard, and Denny Avdia, who is still nursing a back injury. For Minnesota, Naz Reid is questionable with a right shoulder injury. Some MLB news for you, as Chris Sale and the Atlanta Braves have reached an agreement on a 1-year, $27 million contract extension. The extension includes a club option, keeping the future Hall of Fame pitcher from entering the free agency next winter. Over to the NFL, as Atlanta Falcons general manager Ian Cunningham informed Kirk Cousins that the team plans to release him on the first day of the league year. Cousins, a 14-year veteran, completed 61.7% of his passes, throwing for 10 touchdowns on 5 interceptions over a 10-game span. We are just 2 days out from the on-field drills of the 2026 NFL Combine. Players are currently going through interviews and medical evals and measurements while the on-field workouts will all commence on Thursday, starting with the defensive linemen and the linebackers. For more sports scores and stories in 30 minutes, I'm Casey Smith from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt and missing work? Insurance companies acting like jerks? Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at warrenallen.com.
The home of prime time with Isaac and
Hour number deuce here. You're missing the first hour. You can download that, the Fan Podcast, 1051thefan.com, the Odyssey app, wherever you get your podcasts, including over on the YouTubes. If you missed Dirt and Sprague this morning, you can catch them. And if you can't catch Primetime Live, you can catch that wherever you get your podcast, the Odyssey app or the YouTubes. Rewind, fast forward. Except for in the future, that'd be impossible. This hour we'll get to Web Gems, a story near and dear to Danny and I's heart. But we'll kick it a lot in the NFL. For some fun. It is a free consultation Tuesday, so get those in, 503-864-6326. But Danny, I've got breaking news for you. Did you know that Fan Madness is back? Join the Fan Thursday, March 19th and Friday, March 20th for the two most exciting days of basketball at Tom's Watch Bar and A Casino Resort in Richfield. Dirt and Sprague, this fine show, the firm of Harris and Meringue, the Fan Happy Hour with Luke Anderson, and Prime Time with Isaac and Suk, all broadcasting live throughout the days. Don't miss a minute of the action. Play hooky with the Fan for Fan Madness, brought to you by A and Window Nation, March 19th and 20th at A Casino and Resort. I know that I am stoked to be up there. Alane's in my backyard. Dirt offered me to stay in his hotel room. I think I'm going to take him up on that.
What, you didn't get your own?
I live 11 minutes away. What? It's literally like a $15 Uber.
Why are you going to stay in his?
Just to big spoon him.
Oh, okay.
Look, low-key.
You're the big spoon in this?
Look, low-key, Patrick Harris and Andy Johnson in a spoon situation might get some clicks.
Yeah.
Might get some clicks.
That's
I'm
tough.
a little tubbier than him, but we're around the same height.
Yeah. Are you?
Yeah. I think he's got me by an inch.
Okay.
But we're right around there. I'm definitely tubbier than him.
Got you by an inch, huh?
Well, we'll find out. We'll find out. Let's see. Let's jump into the NFL here. NFLPA has had report cards for years, okay, that allow players to kind of anonymously grade their team based on facilities, coaching staff, ownership. What are you giggling about?
Just owners going, we don't like this because it holds us accountable when we suck.
I know.
And then you know who it was? It's Clark Hunt.
Is that who it is?
I mean, he has to be, and Woody Johnson has to, like, those have to be the two.
The two that are just like, no.
Well, Woody Johnson, like, just sucks, and Clark Hunt's out here winning and building, like, you know, a palatial press box or owner's suite. Meanwhile, his locker room is the worst in the league, and you're just making tens of millions of dollars as you win Super Bowl after Super Bowl after Super Bowl. And it was like, our locker room is the worst locker room in sports.
You have maybe the second greatest quarterback in the history of the game in Mahomesy, and Taylor Swift is often seen in your building, and you have the worst locker room. That's pretty rough. J.J. Watt had an amazing comment that just really rung the bell for me.
JJ's great about this stuff.
He's been really good on TV and just in social media in general. TV can be a little more buttoned up, but he is very, very candid.
He lets it fly.
He lets it fly. He had this quote: "The NFL won't let actual players grade the workplace they attend every single day, but they'll allow a third-party grading service to display their rankings, quote-unquote, of players on national television every Sunday night."
Talking about PFF.
Talking about Pro Football Focus. He's not wrong. He's like, look, we're the ones in the building that actually know what's going on. And It's kind of similar.
And the guys go to different teams. They go to different buildings. They have an understanding of what other teams have.
Without a doubt. And you're friends with everybody, whether you went to school with them or you're in the combine together or high school together, etc. There are places that I'm going to use this as an example, but I don't know if it's true or not. Let's take Cleveland, for example, okay? Ownership, travesty, right? But Stefanski, pretty good coach. So you can live in a world where ownership might be garbage, but the internal structure, your nuclear structure, might be okay. I'll take my same city, Cleveland Guardians. The Dolans are terrible. We hate them. We want them out. Everybody can't stand them. But that front office is
Great.
so good. It's so good.
Your manager. Great.
President of Atlanta came from Cleveland. President of Toronto came from Cleveland. What have both those two teams done? Been in World Series, and one of them won one. Okay, you can have moments where your ownership sucks, but your internal
right.
can be great. To not allow players to speak their minds anonymously is a joke. And it gets to a point, we'll get to this in a moment here.
I hope they just have like the players union just hires a third party service and just does it anyways.
Exactly. And
What's to stop them from making like a what do you call it, the mail client, Survey Monkey? What's to stop them from making a Survey Monkey thing and just sending it out to the players?
Why not? I mean, unless it's a breach of their contract or collective bargaining agreement.
Well, I mean, if it happens and it just happens to get leaked.
But there's two.
Oh darn.
There's twofold. Like, I don't want to get to the other one because I want to save it for our next segment. But like, part of this is, when does the players union just like say enough is enough? We're seeing this with the WNBA, who set a deadline of March 10th. Good luck with that. We've got the MLBPA. That collective bargaining agreement goes out December 1st. Good luck with that. The NFL Players Association have never really once stood up for themselves in a hard-line way.
Well, they can't.
Why not?
Because their careers are an average of 3.5 years.
I understand that, but that would make me fight for it more.
Here, I'll use the line that I used when we talked about this before, about giving things up. No one is in the business of giving up their stuff so somebody else can get it later.
I know, you're right.
It's super easy to say that to somebody. Why don't you do this?
Totally.
Like, well, then why don't you do it?
Yeah, exactly.
No. Every time I hear somebody say like a player should take a pay cut, I'm like, you should take a pay cut. Why aren't you doing it so your job can be made easier?
Could I make an example though?
It's nuts.
Could I make an example though? It's kind of like owning a house. That there are some things that you need to fix that don't necessarily need to, but they appreciate for resale value. But does that still, I guess, benefits you?
Yeah, it does.
Even though you're doing something for the future benefit of the house that you may not live in.
Look, I'll use a perfect example with that regard. The house that I used to have was built in 1952. It still has the original windows on it.
Crazy.
Not gas filled. It's just straight single pane. Whatever the temperature is outside, that's what it is, like 5 feet from the window. It was just absolutely miserable. My AC bill during the heat dome was like, my electric bill was like $400. It was nuts. I had a sponsorship deal with a window company. They were getting ready to come out here, and when we got snow 2 years ago, the guy flew out here from North Dakota. And he's like, I can't get to you to come look at your house. And I'm like, dude, do not come from the Portland airport to Newberg, Oregon in a snowstorm.
No.
Do not do that.
No.
But we were going to redo, like they had an unbelievable discounted deal that they were going to do. And then I ended up having hip surgery a month later. It was like, okay, cool. Yeah, like we don't have to worry about this anymore. But it was going to be like, I think it was going to be like 20-something thousand. I talked to a real estate agent and my mortgage officer. Like, that's going to probably add like somewhere around $60,000 to $65,000 to the value of your home. And I was like, damn, like that's no joke. Like, it's like 3 times what you put into it, right? But it's going to benefit me in the immediacy because my power bill is going to go down. The temperature in my house is going to come down. All the things that come along with it.
Plus.
Yeah, like my house is going to look better because the windows are 75 years old. Like,
I keep hearing Window Nation updates, and I'm like, do I need to do that in my house?
But again, I'm going to benefit of that.
Sure.
I'm going to benefit it on the financial side of things. I'm going to benefit it in the immediacy. It's going to look better. Like all of those things. If a guy takes, like the players union takes it on the chin right now for insert thing here. The vast majority of them are going to be out of the league.
It's just the NFLPA is the one association of the big 3 that gets railroaded the hardest.
They have the least amount of leverage.
The NBA, I mean, I don't know who has it better, the NBA or the MLB.
I think
it's the MLB.
I'd say it's the NBA because of the length of the career.
Yeah.
And obviously,
Yeah.
lack of
the stardom
arbitration,
in
getting
in that
money
span.
sooner.
That's a good point. No arbitration, guaranteed contracts.
to the
Because
league-
baseball's guaranteed contracts.
You get to the league at 19.
You get to the league very
There's
fast.
there's no AAA.
You can in baseball, but
Rare.
it's the
It's Bryce Harper, Mike
and,
Trout.
and Pujols.
How many
It's those
19-year-old
dudes.
rookies do
Yeah.
you know in the
It-
MLB?
Adley,
many.
or not Adley, but
Juan Soto.
Yeah, like it's
Yeah, some of those guys get
Connor,
there.
Holiday.
Yeah,
Like you just it doesn't happen very often.
Yeah.
If you're a top 2 pick and a generational player, sure, but like
my
this-
team has Travis Bazzana. He's the number 1 overall pick from 3 years ago.
Oregon
Not
State,
gonna
baby.
not gonna make camp. He's playing in spring training. Not gonna. They won't because they want to control him.
Yeah.
because it's arbitration. Even though we desperately need a second baseman and he can play. Nope. Hold him back.
Well, again, so like
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
NBA,
good point.
NBA probably has it the
He
best.
might be one of the best baseball players I've ever watched play.
Either way, those two, whichever one is 1 and 2, I think you guys might be right that it's NBA, but baseball is not far behind them.
No, because it's longevity.
The gap between those two and the NFLPA rights is insane.
Yes.
The fact that they only recently got CTE coverage and they do have lifetime insurance now, like that's insane. The most violent sport in North America.
and they had to have the public support to do it.
They had to, otherwise they wouldn't have got it.
And,
I mean, what do they say? Your best asset is your availability. Your best ability is your availability. So if you're having to fight for your game check every single week, you're not going to sacrifice little stuff along the way.
This is a fair point on the text line, too. To me, it seems like the difference between the NFL and other leagues is the big players rarely speak out against the league. In the NFL, that's very true.
they can't.
They can't. They're
Because-
scared.
Because they have that big guaranteed check. And it's like, well, that should give you all the leverage. Yet, well, guess what? When they go in the locker room, it's like, yeah, it's you can do that. You can go do all this stuff. And it's like, well, I like my big check.
Yeah, it's, we can sit here and bitch and moan about LeBron with his China takes, how, he can be at the front and center of BLM, but have no comment about Taiwan.
Checks cash.
Checks cash, and most NBA players, only Cade recently was like, it's not tanking. No players are coming out and really saying anything about tanking.
No.
Cade's coming out and talking about flopping. Now that is something that'll get the juices going, but nobody's talking about tanking because they don't want to.
No.
Sometimes tanking is the best benefit for you.
Look, man, I've talked to players during this process with the Blazers.
Yeah.
They don't enjoy it. They're
No.
they're like, man, I don't want to be here for this. I don't want to go out there and know I'm going to get my teeth kicked in. That's veterans and young players.
But I guess the question you end up start asking is, what is the benefit by saying something?
And that's the thing is like, well, yeah, not only that, like, let's say you're
Is the pot worth stirring?
well, not only that, like, again, let's say you're a veteran player and you're like, I don't want to be a part of this. Like, how does it benefit me to have another guy that's here that might be competing for my job?
Right.
And people are like, well, then if you're not the best, and it's like, dude, these guys all have egos and there's protectionism, like, because your earnings windows are what they are.
Look, dude, I may not be the best at this job right now, but if there's somebody in my way to keep this job who's better than me, you damn right I'm sandbagging him.
But you know what I mean?
Because I got bills to pay, man.
Yeah, like-
I need a job.
Everybody says the thing that you should do, or like the whole like the myopic, like,
Keep
oh
saying it,
yeah, put yourself in that position in your job, and like, well, I'm like, you're in sales, and some new dude comes in and just starts mopping, and now all some of your clients are like, this guy rules. This guy's really getting it done, and like all of a sudden, some of your clients are leaving. You're like, whoa. Hey, we've had a relationship, and like you start going down that path. It's like that guy's just better than you, and all of a sudden you start looking around like, oh crap! Now like this guy's cutting in. Like he's the top seller. He's cutting into my bonus that I've been getting for the last 10 years. Like, but that's the reality. It's competitive, and so like this whole idea, like these finite windows, it's not always there, and you can argue about it until you're blue in the face, but that's just the reality.
I wonder when rubber meets the road with some of these players. If it ever does. If it ever does.
Yeah, I don't think it will.
Yeah, there's some more questions lingering in the NFL when it comes to the evolution of the game. There's a report that came out that they could potentially be throwing flags during replays. We talked about this previously. I've got a question that I want to ask you, Danny, when it pertains to this. When is, similar to what we said with the NFLPA, but on another side, from a fan standpoint, when is enough enough? And how much can you play with fire? We'll go there next. That's Danny. I'm Patrick. 105.1 The Fan.
It's
she's a winner.
Great point to what you were talking about, Danny, on the text line here. I've always said I would take the Tom Brady route, take a pay cut to build a great roster around me, but then I truly think about saying no to $30 million a year. Be way harder than everybody thinks.
Those are the exceptions, not the rules. And also, Tom Brady was also making tens of millions of dollars off the field.
Yes. It's easy for Mahomes to restructure his contract when he's in every other State Farm commercial.
Yeah, Tom Brady's out here doing Gillette ads. Oh, and by the way, when he was taking those pay cuts, he was making less than his wife. Gisele's worth like a $500 million.
Yeah.
Like
Also-
people don't realize that Gisele was worth more than Tom Brady.
Also,
Tom
winning,
had his own line of shoes.
also
Yeah,
winning Super Bowls and stuff like that gets you to a point where you're winning more money, or you're earning more money, contract bonuses,
Incentives,
et cetera,
and all those kind of things,
all that
yeah.
kind of stuff. And if you're Tom, I don't have his contract details in front of me, but if you're Tom, I'm sure they're incentive laden. It's like, if I'm all pro, if I'm NBA first team or NFL first team, if I'm Pro Bowler, if I win this many games, throw for this many yards, this many touchdowns, etc. I'm sure there's money in there for days. For days.
During his 2020 and 2021 seasons with Tampa Bay, because he made it to the playoffs, he earned over $1.25 million in bonuses
Just to make the playoffs?
just during that 2020 postseason run.
Good God.
So just to put this in perspective, Tom Brady's net worth is somewhere around $350-400 million, right? Okay, across everything. Gisele had made a reported $197 million in sales from her flip-flop line in 2010.
Get it, girl.
So, yeah, like she got the Victoria's Secret money, which she was the face of that company for what, 20 years?
In the world, Craig.
Like Gisele was like the supermodel of the world for 2 decades.
Yeah, if you're not our age, because we grew up with Tyra and that crowd, if you aren't our age, maybe if you're more Casey's age, Gisele is in his entire life
Yeah.
as like the hottest chick in the world.
Yep.
Yep.
And guess what? She parlayed that into a million different clothing lines, makeup, endorsements, all the things. She's worth $500 million. So when your wife at the time is worth $500 million, you're good.
You're good.
Is that one of the relationships where the dude ended up being like, "Hey, I need some
alimony?"
alimony?" Like,
I bet you they both had fat prenups.
probably.
Yeah. She got married again. She just had a kid
Isn't it with the judo?
with her like personal trainer.
Jiu-jitsu instructor.
Yeah.
It was like her personal trainer while her and Tom were together.
Hmm.
Weird.
Brazilian jiu-jitsu instructor.
Weird. Good looking dude though.
I mean, is that the new version of the gardener or the pool boy?
I guess so. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like-
Your personal trainer of some sort.
Whatever.
Don't worry, baby. I ain't leaving you for my personal trainer. My personal trainer's a 6-pack. And not my abs.
There you go.
One quick thing that I forgot to mention in this NFLPA sort of situation is the aspect of owners being critical of their own players. To quote Woody Johnson, it's hard when you have a quarterback with a rating that he's got. If he can just complete a pass, it would look good. Like when you have that, this Mike Florio article, he says the next time an owner publicly complains about a player, a grievance under Article 51 of the CBA should immediately be filed. If I can't critique you, I don't know if you should be able to critique me.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a really super fair statement.
I mean, that's the kind of thing where you could take it to court, not
Right.
even just in collective bargaining. Like you could take it to court.
Now, the problem is Woody Johnson would go to court and be like, now am I wrong? And everybody be like, no, Justin Fields sucks.
But
You can't do
can't
that.
say it- you can't say it
do that.
publicly.
You can't do that.
and here's the thing that
No, like if Dusty were to come out and say like, Casey, me, and you, we all stink and shouldn't be here, like that would cause problems.
Mm-hmm.
That would cause massive issues.
you'd be right, but
That's why he tells us off camera.
could you not suck so much?
Another aspect that I think is kind of just fascinating about the NFL, and this is more of like a long-term thing, and bear with me a little bit because I know what I'm going to say at first is kind of going to sound crazy, but I just want to let it marinate for a second. There are reports out there that the NFL will mold the idea of on some replays being able to throw flags, okay? We have talked about this in previous weeks. Nobody is for this. There's holding on every play, pass interference, grabbing, whatever it is, hand checking, whatever you want to call it. It would get very, very tedious. But as the NFL continues to do this, does anybody ever worry that fans at some point will say enough is enough? That if you have such a great thing, the only thing that corrupts power is absolute power, whatever that line is?
Absolute power corrupts, absolutely.
Yeah. Do you ever fear that the NFL could get in that world?
Yes.
Sometimes I fear that all the time.
Very much
It's
so.
made the NFL a harder product for me to watch over the years.
Games are already too long.
I know. We
know-
talked yesterday about the Australia game. You're like, I'm out. I'm like, well, man, I get up at 6:30 every morning. I might catch the end of the fourth quarter
I'm out. I'm just not.
because it's 4.5 hours
Yeah,
later.
I'm just not doing that, man. Like Major League Baseball cut their average run time to what? 2:15.
I mean, I think the fastest a game can be 2:15. I think the average is now 2:30.
Is 2:30?
But it used
Okay.
to be 3:10.
Yeah, they
10 years ago.
I mean, the pitch clock just ramped up the game.
And I was super wrong about that. I know I sit here and I yell about the NFL constantly changing rules all the time, and I don't know how to keep up with it. I haven't been completely told that I was wrong or right on that. I was super wrong on baseball. I thought pitch clock and larger bases, I was like, this ain't going to speed up the game. This is going to just create more offense. Pitchers are going to throw faster, like rush their delivery and not have their location. Guys are going to hit them all over the place. Stolen base. Dude, this is a disaster. Totally wrong. I don't see that in the NFL with their rule changes. All their rule changes over the last 5 years, to me, have felt gimmicky or causing more confusion. Now, is that what they want?
I think
they want us bitching and moaning about it all day?
Because if you're in the zeitgeist, the all good news, all news is good news kind of a deal. All PR is good PR. And who's to argue with them? They're the most powerful brand in the country as far as sports are concerned, and it's. I get it from that perspective. Like you're keeping something fresh, you're keeping something like revamping the kickoff. I think that was a good thing. Like bringing an element of the game that had gone extinct back and finding a way to make that work. Great. But like this, like what are we doing here? What like I know we talk about the we want to just get it right, but also like call me Patty Harris here in this. Like I want to shake my fist at the sky and I want to have human error. At the same token, I'll be a hypocrite and say, give me automatic balls and strikes in baseball. Like I'm just
Well, I think what you're alluding to is that I think there's room for human element in a lot of spaces, but there's also room for the barriers to be put up to protect the integrity. Because automatic balls and strikes, I'm the old fuddy-duddy, that's why I'm no on it. There's no good reason why you shouldn't do it.
yeah.
I can admit that. I just like old-time baseball,
But it also
with umps being different and players being different, etc. But I can't think of a legitimate reason outside of, but I like it this way.
Well, I mean,
to tell you why there shouldn't be balls and strikes.
you were also talking about like what you'll do to records,
yeah,
like pitchers that made a living on the edge.
totally.
You know how many
If
more
I know
strikeouts or
that-
how many less strikeouts or how
If
many
I
more
know
walks.
this guy's behind the plate tonight, he lets me have the inside or he lets me have the upper outside. I know that. I mean, Greg Maddux and Kurt Schilling would sit in dugouts with binders of information before we got to iPads and
Yeah.
stuff like that. Binders of information. It wasn't just batters in
It's
their
umpires.
stance. It's umpires. It's managers. It's tendencies. So, but and that's a good reason, I guess. But if you're doing this in the NFL, I just worry that it comes to a point where I eventually just say, dude, I'm out.
Yeah.
I can't follow this
We're
anymore.
not playing a game anymore.
No.
You're playing the rules. And I am always going to be spirit of the law and not letter of the law guy.
Totally.
Like, a cop could sit there and pull you over all day, every single day for going over the speed limit. But it's,
62 and a 60.
they technically
You're speeding.
They technically
You're breaking the law.
can. But it's spirit of the law, not letter of the law. Because if you start operating letter of the law in anything or in everything, what are we doing?
One thing that really got me going on this, which is why I was thinking about this so much this morning, is I saw the report that Detroit, I hate that I'm bringing this up because I said to myself I wasn't going to. I saw the report that the Detroit Lions, one of their home games is in Munich this year. They're one of the overseas teams. Then I was like, oh, okay, so they're one of the overseas. Well, why don't they just tell us who it is? Oh, right. Because they can put out this little nugget, and that's a headline today to continue to keep themselves in the news and stuff like that. And it gets to a point where I'm only using it as an example for this argument's sake, but it got to the point where I was like, I don't want to acknowledge that because I don't care. Now, when the season comes around, if I'm a Lions fan, maybe I want to take a trip to Germany and then I would care. But as a whole, like, bro, that ain't moving the needle for me. Okay, cool. They're playing an international game. The only reason Australia is a talking point is because it's 20 hours away. Outside of that, like, you want to play a game in Brazil, Mexico City, England, Ireland? I don't care. I don't care.
No.
But you got to keep putting this in my face, and eventually, You know, I think fantasy football did this to me. Fantasy football got to a point where people's opinions on players in real life were dictated by their fantasy.
Yeah.
And I said, this is absolute garbage, and I refuse to be a part of it and stop playing fantasy football. My example is LaDainian Tomlinson. When Marty was in San Diego, LT was getting the ball 27, 32 times a game, okay? Rushing for 2,000 yards, 2,500 all-purpose, MVP, etc., Hall of Famer. Shoddy gets fired. Enter Norv Turner, who's pass-happy. Rivers starts chucking the ball all day, and LT's carries go from 27-32 to 18-22.
Yeah.
And they take that huge dive, and everybody's like, I took LT first in my fantasy league, and he's only rushing for 1,300 yards. He's washed.
And you're
And
sitting
you're
there
like,
going,
he is not washed.
Bro.
Like, is Alvin Kamara washed, or do the Saints suck?
Yeah.
I think the Saints suck.
Well,
I imagine
think
Kamara
there's
is still
a little
good.
bit of both, because if you've watched the film on Kamara,
Well, I mean,
the
yeah.
rushes per attempt have gone down
Sure,
dramatically.
sure.
I mean, just
The
as an
fumbles have
example.
gone up.
Yeah, but the point is like schemes change and defense, and different teams have different defensive schemes, whether you have a 4-man front, a 3-man front. Look, you can be the number 1 passing defense in the league and the number 30th rushing defense in the league. That exists. And I think when you do stuff like this, it starts to just get ginchy, and it just makes me say, I just don't care anymore.
What you're doing is you're getting away from the game, and I don't like getting away from the game. That's the drum that I beat with the NBA. We are getting away from the game. Get more back to the game.
Right.
When the bigger stuff is around the game, you've lost the plot.
I agree. When we come back, let's get into maybe the best wide receiver in the NFL needs money. How much money can you give him, though? We'll go there next, but first, there's Casey with sports.
Now, from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on the Fan Sports Network, 105.1 FM and 1080 AM.
First on the Fan, your Portland Trailblazers are back in action tonight, hosting Anthony Edwards and the Timberwolves inside the Moda. Blazers coming into the game 6.5-point underdogs, as they will be without Shaedon Sharpe, Damian Lillard, and Denny Avdia, who is still nursing that back injury. For Minnesota, Naz Reid is listed as questionable with a right shoulder injury. Some MLB news for you, as Chris Sale and the Atlanta Braves have reached an agreement on a 1-year, $27 million contract extension. The extension includes a club option, keeping the future Hall of Fame pitcher from reaching free agency next winter. Over to the NFL, as Atlanta Falcons general manager Ian Cunningham informed Kirk Cousins that the team plans to release him on the first day of the league year. Cousins, a 14-year veteran, completed 61.7% of his passes, throwing for 10 touchdowns on 5 interceptions over a 10-game span. And we are just 2 days out from the on-field drills of the 2026 NFL Combine. Players are currently going through interviews, medical evals, and measurements, while all of the on-field workouts will officially kick off on Thursday, starting with the defensive linemen and the linebackers. For more sports scores and stories in 30 minutes, I'm Casey Smith from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt and missing work? Insurance companies acting like jerks? Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at warrenallen.com.
Sports Saturday with Joe Fisher and Rashad Taylor. Saturday mornings at 9 on the Fan Sports Network.
Here on a Timberland Tuesday. Happy to have you. Thanks for being a part of our day. Free consultation at 12:15, 503-864-6326. Anything you need help with in your life, personal, sports, work, whatever you need. The firm is here to take care of you. Firm is here to take care of you. We'll have Web Gems here in about 10 minutes, 15 minutes or so, all depending on if we mind our P's and Q's here. Statements made from a Jackson Smith and Jigba. Danny, you ever heard of that guy?
Pretty decent.
Pretty decent. He is ready for a contract extension. Some believe, including himself, that he should be the highest paid wide receiver in the NFL, which puts you in Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson territory. I believe they both make over $40 million a year.
Jamar Chase is the highest paid at $40.25 million.
So JJ is right below him then, I assume, like 38 and
38.
change. Let's see here. Top paid wide receivers in the NFL. I think the question is not do you pay him, because that's duh, right? We're paying JSN. But let me run you these. Let me run these by you, Danny. The top paid wide receivers in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
You have Jamar Chase at number 1,
Mhm.
Justin Jefferson at number 2,
Mhm.
CeeDee Lamb,
Mm.
DK Metcalf,
Mm.
Garrett Wilson,
Mhm.
Scary Terry. That's your top 6. Okay, 7 is AJ. 8 is Amon Ra.
Mhm.
9 Ayuk, which we'll move on from that.
Yeah.
And tied with him is Tyreek Hill. Of all those players, 2
Mhm.
made the playoffs, and I would argue the Steelers probably shouldn't have.
Mm.
Bad division. No offense.
Would have had one more win if he didn't get suspended.
Maybe so. There you go. So what do we got? We look at this correlation with quarterbacks. When you start paying quarterbacks, there is a clear drop-off in your talent level on a roster space due to the cap and how far you can go. Sam Darnold is one of the most budget-friendly quarterbacks you can think about on a roster that is absolutely loaded. Now, maybe the Seahawks are in a position where they have some of that extra money to pay JSN because they're not breaking the bank on a quarterback. How long is that going to last? What does year 4 of JSN's $43 million contract look like for the rest of the team?
Here's the thing that it pops up over and over and over again. We talk about when you pay this guy, when you pay that guy, when you pay this guy, when you pay that guy. Yeah, that's the whole point. When you pay guys, decisions have to be made. Whether, for the Steelers, it's paying TJ Watt. For the Raiders, it's paying Max Crosby. Or for the Seahawks, it's paying JSN. Like, when all of a sudden you have a top earner at their spot, you have to move things around. And that's a big part of this is, and I bring this up with regards to the NBA all the time, luck.
Yeah.
Luck plays everybody wants to, as humans, we want to have this veil of control. And we just don't.
I mean, the conversation, taking Seattle, for example, and John Schneider, executive of the year, obviously he's a plug and play in terms of buying the team. You just say, congratulations, would you like a contract extension? The only GM to build 2 different Super Bowl teams, complete different rosters, etc. He drafted great. Witherspoon, hit. Leonard Williams, hit. JSN, hit.
I mean, you could say DK.
Signing D-Law, signing Sam Darnold, hit. Like, Iminwari, hit, boom. There's still so much luck involved in that. And he got lucky, for lack of better terms, that they all hit. Now, JSN, when it comes to him, I want to pay him. Elite route runner, can be in the slot, can be on the outside, can take a hit. Outside of the Super Bowl situation, seems to stay healthy, seems like a good guy. Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson, they both seem like good guys. Double J wears a little too much chains for me in his commercials and such, but whatever. He's got a great personality. When Jamar talks...
He's not stepping in it like another Minnesota superstar.
No. When Jamar talks about the game, you can tell he really cares. Yep. He's a humble guy, but he's very smart.
You want to pay him.
After that, dude, CeeDee Lamb, kind of drama. DK, hella drama. Scary Terry, sat out almost last year. Do I need to say A.J. Brown's name?
Nope.
So,
how about Brandon Ayuk?
Adios, amigo. So you're looking at this list like Amon Ra seems a pretty solid dude.
Oh, dude, if you ask me right now, you tell me I can't have JSN, Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson. Amon-Ra St. Brown is number one on my list.
I agree. Garrett Wilson, I can't speak too much because I don't watch Jets games.
But he's real good.
He is real good, but I don't know like how he is as a human.
But like Amon-Ra,
sounds like a dude.
great dude, run blocking monster, runs every route, works hard, just like the dude of dudes. Like when I talk about wide receivers that I love, yes, he went to my school, and so I have maybe a little bit more love for him. But it's guys like him. It's Larry Fitzgerald.
We like the big guys.
It's Mike Evans. Like it's Drake London, Michael Pittman. Yeah, I know USC guys, but like they have a type. Keyshawn Johnson. Just throw me the damn ball. Like, guy, that's what they do, guys.
Of the top two guys, if we don't count JSN going into this season, we talked about this multiple times. We both would rather have Jamar Chase than Justin Jefferson.
Yes.
No slide on Jay.
No.
He's absolutely phenomenal.
Give me the bigger guy.
I like the big guy across the middle. Always have.
Always will. And if you're asking me, can I have the end zone threat or can I have the route runner? Give me the end zone threat. Give me the Mike Evans.
Yeah, you want Jamar Chase or you want Puka Nacua? I'm a Chase guy.
Yeah.
Although Nacua can be a little more dynamic.
Yeah.
Cooper Kupp was that way. JSN can be that way.
Just
Obviously,
guys.
anybody not named Moss that Tom had.
But no, I mean, JSN is not he's not DK in the sense of like his route running's a little he's a physical freak. He's got some of the drama, but like JSN can play inside. He can play outside. He's very versatile. And despite him not being the biggest, he's a guy that does do well in the run game. Like who he reminds me of, and Case, I want your thoughts on this. Like he's a better version of him, but he reminds me of Hines Ward.
Without a doubt.
Like as far as like what he means and what he does and where he can play and how he can play and all of the things that he does.
Also, it's not that Hines Ward was a small player by any means, but he played
Bigger.
like he was 10 times the size.
Hines Ward was the most. I'd say Hines Ward is obviously more physical because Amon-Ra is a much stronger route runner, and that's where he creates the space. But yeah, I think you hit it right on the nose.
Yeah.
They're pretty similar in how they play.
I also wonder how much now NFL's always been very, very good at this. The NBA is pretty solid too. Baseball's horrendous at it, of not paying guys for what they've done, but paying guys for what they can do.
NBA was the worst at it as far as paying guys for what they had done. The new CBA and the second apron and all that kind of stuff.
Kind of changed that.
Nope.
But in baseball, that Pujols contract in Anaheim,
You pay for what they did.
Robbie Cano in Seattle, like those are some just all-time atrocious contracts due to what they did and not what they can do. If you're Seattle, I think you might be somewhere in between.
Yeah.
I think it might be okay to give JSN some extra money
This
based on
contract
what
you
he
can.
did. And I wonder if they do that, what this says about what their future plans are at quarterback. Look, they took Jaden Milroe in the third round, something like that. Second round, I don't remember.
I believe it was the fourth.
The fourth round, thank you. As a potential, let's see what this guy has. But I think that was before they really knew they were going to go with Sam. Is this a college football approach to the quarterback position? That if we do put our money in third round, if we do put our money in D-Law and Witherspoon and Eamon Wari and JSN, does that mean we are looking every 3 years for a quarterback, a value deal? Like who's the next Mac Jones out there sort of thing?
Yeah, but if you play that game,
it's dangerous.
You're opening yourself up.
Look at Miami, Georgia, Oregon in college football. They're all walking that walk right now.
You wonder if Sam Darnold's one of those guys, not the guy that leaves money on the table necessarily, but the guy like
fit.
He's just like, they want me here, and so yes, I will take a quote unquote pay cut.
To where guys like Kyler make me look like who's going to pay me the most.
Yeah. And again, I don't have anything against that attitude, but like
we always say, get your money. Always get your money.
I will always bring this example up when we talk about money because I think it's one of the best ones I've seen in my career. When Nasir Little got his 3-year, $21 million deal, Nasir could have gotten more, but he was just like, if you had told 18-year-old me that I would have $21 million guaranteed, I would have signed it on the spot.
Yeah.
To find a kid who's 21, 22 years old that has the maturity to understand that, and again, go get your money. I have no problem with that. But for in his circumstance, in his instance, dude, the maturity that he showed, it wasn't I just want it over. It was like there was gratitude in that. And then going, I'm set. I'm set for life, and I set my family up for life with this. I have generational wealth.
And you're talking about, in between the ears. You're talking about
Yes.
the quality of the human being.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they're not equal, but they're both free agents. One's about to get the tag. But if you're comparing JSN to George Pickens, again, not to pick on your Steelers over there, he's not your problem anymore.
Pickens is his own.
So that's nice.
That's his own thing.
But it's like, if you are up against it, if you are in the corner, if you are the caged animal and you have to pay somebody, you can do a lot worse than JSN. I don't know how much better you can do than JSN.
Yeah.
Now, who knows? Maybe JSN gets the bag and becomes a diva. We don't know that. But all things that we've seen leading up to this point lead me to believe that that's not going to be the case.
You hope not.
You think George Pickens is going to be stoked that he's about to be franchise tagged by the Dallas Cowboys? You don't think that's going to be an issue in training camp? He might not say anything this year, but what if they do it to him again? What's that going to look like? Now, to be fair for George Pickens, nobody wants to be franchise tagged.
No.
Unless you're Kirk Cousins.
You like that?
You like that, and yes, he did like that, and that's why he is
You know he's
bogus rich.
4th all-time in NFL earnings?
I believe it. I 100% believe it. Dude, he got 2 max deals and was franchise tagged 3 times, I believe. And that's the average of the top 3 quarterback salaries. Get out of town, bro.
Good place to be.
Good place to be.
And it goes up every year.
JSN's the guy that I would do it for. I think so.
Yeah, I agree.
Question now turns, then if you do that to him, what's Witherspoon going to cost? What's Eamon Worry going to cost? You've mentioned you think Reek might be the odd man out, where you just kind of say, thanks, bud, I can't afford you because I want to pay D-Law. I want to pay Leonard Williams. Still need to work on that offensive line. What's Sam going to want when his contract comes up, which is not far away? I trust Schneider. Being a Seahawk fan must be nice.
This is where GMs actually make their money.
Without a doubt. It's thinking down the road.
It's not just the draft picks. It's setting yourself up while having a window, managing that window the right way. Like the Rams, Les Snead should get all of his flowers.
All
You've
of them.
seen multiple iterations.
F them picks.
They're a game away from a Super Bowl.
Without a doubt.
Through another iteration, through a bunch of injuries without Aaron Donald.
Dare I say that was the best playoff game, too?
Yeah.
And they're a play away.
I mean, look, whether it's the Rams or the Seahawks, either team going into the Super Bowl absolutely boat race the Patriots.
Agreed.
So,
and I think there's ways to look at it too. That it's like if you can get this deal done with JSN now, okay, salary cap's going up.
It's always better to pay a guy earlier than late if a guy is going to be a guy.
Also, if the salary cap's going up, which it is,
it's percentage of cap.
JSN's money doesn't look so bad in 3 years when you got to go back to Sam and pay him. That doesn't look so bad. Maybe the books open up a little more.
That's why, again, you don't Bengals this and pay Jamar late, pay T. Higgins late, and find yourself going, please, sir, can I have some more? Because you have no money.
I don't know what the cap hit's going to look like, dude, but I'll bet you Trevor Lawrence's fat deal looks a lot better on. It looks a lot better during next season than it did 2 years ago. Trevor Lawrence making $50 million, but the cap goes up. All of a sudden, you're like, again, I don't know what his cap hit is, but all of a sudden it might not look so bad.
Well, you're looking at his deal now for his production. You're going, that's on par. I'm good.
And in 3-4 years, how many other receivers get fat deals that makes JSN the 5th highest paid receiver?
And that's what the whole point is. Pay him early.
Web Gems is next. Something near and dear to Danny and I's heart that could be in for a change. This hour might be careful what you wish for. We'll go there next. 105.1 The Fan.
2 phones, no clunky landline, just one easy app you can try for free. Your team can share one number and handle calls and texts together like a shared inbox. Any teammate can jump into the conversation so customers get faster responses. And Quo's AI assistant summarizes your calls and responds to customers 24/7, so you never miss a lead or opportunity. All this starts at just $15 a month. That's basically 2 coffees. You can even keep your current business phone number. Find out why 90